This is not a test.
Thanks, Aaron. The Cole Report. Check out the Cole Report.
All right, listen, okay, listen.
Aaron's still in the fight.
Ron, where are you? Where is Ron right now? No Ron, huh? Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute, Ron. You done messed up, Ron.
Have you ever had an interdimensional experience? You want to meet the devil?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
A new world order. Активный мероприятие.
Listening to the Cole Report, coming to you from the belly of the beast, FEMA Region 6. If you'd like to get a hold of me, the best way to do that is via Twitter. And my handle there is @RealCole88, @RealCole88. And if you're an email person, my email address is AaronCole1988 @gmail.com, AaronCole1988 @gmail.com. And I cannot stress you enough, if you are listening to me on any podcast app that allows you to leave 5 stars or any kind of ratings or reviews, anything like that, please help me out. Give me a couple stars on there. It helps out a bunch, and it's free and it's easy, and that's all I ask. This is all I ask for whenever I do these shows. It is free, but I do ask for that little bit of compensation of you interacting with the show. You don't have to talk to me or even think about me or anything like that. Just a little bit of encouragement goes a long way. We're going to keep this kind of short tonight. I was just looking over a couple things. Of course, Donald Trump, he did not go to jail today, but it looks like he is going to be indicted tomorrow. Bum, 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 bum. We're going to see what goes down with all of this. Of course, it is just a complete circus. I tried to cover that yesterday as much as I could. I got a little disorganized here and there, but I think I did it pretty well. And also, too, besides leaving it 5 stars and all that other kind of stuff, if you are listening to the show for the first time, go through the back catalog. There is 76 other shows on there. They are not all that frequent. In the early days, they're kind of off and on. The audio is not all that great. I'm still working through a couple things here and there. I still have my sister-in-law's guinea pig in my office / zoo that I have going on in here, and it's loud from time to time, but I have upgraded stuff here and there, so the audio should be better now versus back in the day. But I think I really did still cover a lot of good stuff back in the day. It's not like I just started podcasting on this. Isn't the first show I've ever done, but go through, look through the back catalog, see if any of those titles grab you, listen to them, check it out. I mean, it's there. I mean, you might as well check it out if you're just listening to this for the first time. If you've never caught any of that old stuff, go check it out. I encourage you to. It would be very, very appreciative. I would be very appreciative of that. So Donald Trump is expected to be indicted on Wednesday, but won't head to New York to appear before the judge next week. Or he will probably go next week or whatever. This is kind of what maybe his timing is off, as people that were telling him was off. There was a media circus today outside of that Manhattan criminal court. There was people standing around, all kinds of media personalities from every walk of the media was out there standing around waiting to hear something. That's kind of funny in a way, how somebody that is so despised in the media can get people to jump around like that. It's really fascinating how somebody that is so, people love him, people hate him. Now he can command the media around to get them at his beck and call. It's really it's really fascinating. And I think it's a real big problem also because he's not the only one that can do this. And the media should never be just on the tit of somebody like a Donald Trump, a person that's just basically doing everything he does for his own ego, for his own, just his own bravado or whatever. He just does this just to fulfill whatever kind of, maybe his dad didn't pay enough attention to him or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of. The people I know that, I mean, they're way more poor than Donald Trump, but I've known a couple people in my life that have this much ego around them, and they just do it for attention. You can see it in everything he does, the way he conducts his campaigns. If you step out of line, he just tries to attack you. He asks for your help, and if you don't help him in the right way, or you help him in a different way, he'll just try to go after your head. So this guy, he does it for himself. And he uses people to build himself up. And he's not the only one to do this in the Republican or Democrat side. I don't know how many times I can repeat myself when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it's really just this guy's personality. And it's really most people in politics or actors or anything like that that really just do this to build themselves up on the backs of other people. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. And I know I don't have that big of a reach, but if anybody is listening to this and are considering going to protest any of this kind of shit, don't. He's going to be let go. This is not a criminal charge necessarily. He's going there to, it's just a grand jury thing. It's not like he's been in court or anything yet. He's going to go to court for a bunch of shit because that's what they do. And that's what makes it so complicated, is because he shouldn't be going through this stuff, but he's also using it to benefit himself in ways that he really shouldn't be doing. So it's such a weird oxymoron, some kind of weird chaotic shit that's going on. And I think that's really part of the game, really, right? It's not meant to make a bunch of shit or anything, make a bunch of sense, make a bunch of shit. That's all it is a bunch of shit. So we're going to see what's happening with that. Supposedly tomorrow he's going to be indicted, but it will be like next week before he shows up there. And he's not going to get handcuffed and carried in or anything like that. Like, he'll show up there, he'll go into the court, and they'll do whatever, and then he'll walk out. Like, I don't even know why he really even needs to go to the court, honestly, because he's not being indicted. He's not going to jail for anything yet. This is a grand jury. Grand juries they just do that to move the ball into a different court. So, we'll see. Just distraction, just stuff to keep bread and circus, keep people distracted and everything like that. Well, we're being distracted by that. I've been seeing a bunch of shit on Twitter with France losing their fucking minds. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, so this is going to be a short episode, but what's going on in France is very interesting. And of course, they just keep us in the dark and anything that's going on around the world. But the French, they're not usually known for being all that combative or being very militant or anything like that, but they're pretty fucking pissed off. I think we covered this maybe last week just a little bit, but I did just a little bit more look into it here, and I got this article here. It's from Reuters, so we're going to take this with a grain of salt, but it's going to kind of lay a framework for what's kind of going on over there, and there's so many problems with the reporting on this. Anger as French government pushes through pension change without a vote. So, first off, yeah, that's the kind of governments that are around the world. The Congress or the Parliament, they don't always get a chance to vote on shit. There's so many weird rules. I mean, just keeping track of what we do in the United States is pretty fucking bizarre. And then you try to add other different governments out there with their different flavors on what we do over here. It's very difficult to keep track on what all they're doing there. But basically what's going on here is Macron is raising the retirement age by 2 years to 64. So that's still, I guess, like a year less than us, technically. I always heard 65. I'm not old enough to even consider that yet, so it's not something I've looked into here, living here in the United States. If you're listening to me abroad, I live in Texas and everything, so not old enough to really worry about what our retirement age, but I think it's like 65 is the general consensus, is when you can start pulling Social Security. So I'm assuming this pension plan is something like Social Security. The bills approved by the National Assembly was in doubt, so they just went ahead and rammed it through. The police they're firing tear gas and stuff like that into, it says spontaneous protest in Paris, which we're going to get into a little bit. I have some ideas. And then opposition to table no confidence vote, which I think there's an interesting rule in France. I don't think it can be enacted now, but I could be talking about my ass a little bit, is that whenever Macron and Le Pen were running against each other, you can do like a vote of no confidence. And if it reaches a certain amount, then I guess they reset or something like that. But nobody was wanting to raise this age up. And I mean, I find it pretty disgusting that the government has the right to tell you when you can stop working. It is also a capitalist society, so hopefully you've made good decisions and everything like that, so you can retire whenever you're ready. But I know there's a lot of people that don't get the opportunities and everything like that. Trust me, I'm not a communist, but I know how the world works, right? So we're going to read on into this article here. This is from March 16th, this Reuters article. The French Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne used a special procedure to push an unpopular pension bill through the National Assembly without a vote on Thursday. Could you imagine if you live in the United States and you're listening to this and you know how our Congress works here? Could you imagine? I guess it would be, I don't know. There's a president. I don't know what the hell a prime minister is compared to a president. What that means is like the vice president or something. Not real sure. I don't know how French government works, but so it'd be like the vice president or maybe a speaker of the house or something like that just rams a bill through without anybody voting on that. That seems preposterous. There's some problems with this democracy thing that we're trying to spread around the world, right? Let me reset here. Without a vote on Thursday, triggering boos and shouts of resign in rare chaotic scenes in the French parliament. So this is Reuters, so I'm going to have to say this is some of that language with the rare and chaotic scenes. I think government's usually pretty chaotic, and it's never rare, so I think that's a little bit of bullshit going on there. The move will ensure the bill raises the retirement age by 2 years to 64, which the government says is essential to ensure the pension system does not go bust. What do we hear in the United States? We're always hearing that, you know, the Republicans or this or that, they're going to end these socialist programs and shit in the United States, Medicare, Medicaid. They're going to get rid of Social Security. They're going to get rid of this and that. So this is just, I think, more bullshit by the French government, which we're doing here in the United States as well, is just trying to keep people working as long as possible. There is a best by date, a sell by date on people, and I don't think 64 is necessarily that old, but there is a certain time where you shouldn't have to really work anymore unless you want to. You've worked for a fucking most of your life. I'm sure many people in France, like the United States, here in certain parts of the United States, you've been working since you were probably like 12 years old or some shit, and you should have the ability to stop working at some point. And they're just going to keep on bumping that up, so you'll fucking basically just die at your job one day, right? Which the government says is essential to ensuring the pension plan doesn't go bust, is because they're promoting also, to get sidetracked again here, they promote all this weird shit, so we're not really reproducing at the rates that we should. You know, like at the populations of all these Western countries, there's a lot of people, old people at the top, a little bit of young people at the bottom, and they've done this through just basically everything. Inflation, they've done it through the stuff that they're teaching. They're doing it through birth control and religion and all this other kind of shit. They've made it to where having kids is a burden, basically. Even if you believe in having kids and you think it's the right thing to do, they've made it to where it's damn near impossible unless you want to go into fucking poverty. And then the government's the one writing your checks so you can fucking feed yourself and your kids. And then you're probably working some shit job. Or if you're waiting later in life, then you're having less kids to get yourself financially stable to do that. They've made this problem on their own, and then they act like they're trying to solve a problem by making you fucking work till you fucking die on the job. Sorry about the F-bombs, but shit. I mean, this isn't rocket science. This is engineering. This is engineering people and engineering behaviors. That's all this is. And I understand why these people are burning shit down in France. I guess mostly in Paris and stuff like that, or maybe there's some other big cities. I've never been to France, but these people seem like they're mad. The only other idea I got, which seems a little unlikely, but I think everything should be kind of considered in its own spectrum and everything like that. That's probably not the right word, but is that maybe this is like a color revolution, like Antifa or something like that. Probably Antifa wouldn't protest this though, because it's the government doing something to make the public suffer more. So usually Antifa doesn't come around with stuff like that, but you could see them probably provocateuring some stuff. And I saw a video on YouTube of people sitting in a restaurant. Supposedly it was in France, and out the window there's just shit on fire, and everybody's just sitting in the restaurant, sitting there just eating. It reminds me of that meme of the dog sitting and eating at this table while the house is on fire. Maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. But anytime I see people agreeing and doing this, I always have to ask myself, who's engineering it? I understand if it's a legitimate protest and stuff like that, or I mean, if they're burning shit, so you gotta, I guess for my political bent in a way, you gotta be, you gotta say mostly peaceful but fiery or something like that. You gotta point that out. There's certain ways to do stuff, but also at the end of the day, too, you gotta, stand up against what your governments are doing. And I mean, I can't say you need to burn stuff down, of course, because then I'd get a finger pointed back at me and waved because I say that's not the way you're supposed to do stuff. But this is interesting when governments just cram down stuff that's not even voted on by these people that are appointed. Basically, maybe some of these people are voted for. I'm sure there's some kind of legal voting going on in France, and these people don't even get the chance to voice their opinion or vote it up or vote it down. And it's just done because we can't let this system go bust because of the policies that have been made over the last 40, 50, 60 years. What the fuck? And then, this Reuters article, it goes even more it just jumps the shark even more here. Far-right leader is what this says. Maybe she's just a person a little right of center or whatever, but they can't say that because it's not the way they label people. Like it's far-right leader Bolsonaro or far-right leader Donald Trump or some shit like that, You don't ever hear him calling George Bush Jr. a far-right leader, I guess. I mean, it was a long time ago. I mean, it was 20-something years ago, but you never heard that language back then. But far-right leader Marie Le Pen said Born should resign. This last-minute resort to 49.3 is an extraordinary sign of weakness, she said, adding she must go. I guess 49.3 is this procedure that the prime minister pulled, which is still definitely over my head because I don't even know what's going on over there. But, they'll raise our – ages that we need to work to, but we're definitely fine with 18 years. 18 years, 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 18 sending money to Ukraine and all that kind of crazy shit, right? It doesn't matter about that. It's all good. As long as we're sending money to Ukraine, you can add a couple more years of labor to your life, you pansy motherfuckers. It's all good. A couple more things, I guess. Well, scrolling through real quick. There's a very large earthquake that hit Pakistan, and then a lot of the effects were felt into Afghanistan. There's videos of a guy in Pakistan doing the news. There's no point in playing it because he's not speaking English or anything like that, but he's sitting here talking, doing some new shit, and like the camera and everything just starts shaking, and he's just chill. He's still just standing there delivering the news. A lot of respect. You can see all the monitors and stuff in the back. He's got like some matrix screens going on in the back, and he's just standing there just delivering the news. We got some more stuff about Biden and his energy plans and stuff like that, talking about not drilling off the Arctic coast anymore, but he was just said the other day he's going to be drilling in Alaska. I don't know. It's all meant to be very confusing. We saw some more pictures. I guess Xi and Putin, they hung out again today. There's some very strange pictures with them being walked into this meeting just for like a photo op. It looks so, I mean, of course it's orchestrated and it's meant to look a certain way, but very, just very bizarre. The links that these leaders go through to signal to their people the strength that they got going on. It's laughable that these people are in control. And I guess the last thing we'll kind of talk about real quick, it's a very, very short clip about Yellen talking about the economy is doing fine, is doing very well. They came out today and said that all the bank contagions, it's all good to go. Everything is in order. We got it all figured out. A couple hundreds of billions of dollars later, shoring up Silicon Valley, sealing up First Republic, Signature, and then if you go international, the Credit Suisse Bank and everything like that. Everything's shored up now. We just printed out a bunch of money to bail out these banks, and we're not worried about their practices and what they were investing in that I'm sure there's other banks invested in, and it's all fine now. I mean, the government just prints money, and it's fine. So one day when it all fucking does finally fall apart, we'll all just be standing here with our dicks in our hands, basically. But let's listen to Yellen real quick.
That we've ever seen, and the fastest recovery.
Excuse me. I thought that was going to play from the beginning.
And take an economy that is performing very well. We've had the fastest recovery from a downturn that we've ever seen, and the fastest recovery of any nation around the globe. The unemployment rate is near a 50-year low. The economy is doing well.
The employment rate is low because, first of all, I think the numbers are completely baked. They're complete bullcrap. And also, the people that are willing to work, they're probably working multiple jobs. I don't think anybody out there is doing well economically. Everything is drastically more expensive. I know they say the CPI is like 6 or 7%, which you added that upon last year. So at the very least, you're looking at something around 15 to 13% from previous years, which I can go through and find many things in a grocery store, even like a Walmart or a United, or I don't know what kind of, regional, everybody has like kind of these regional stores, but we'll just use Walmart as kind of a basis, because that's what pretty much is around the globe and everybody can relate to. You can go through and find shit that's 100 times more expensive than it was before. Or maybe even shit that's more than that. Maybe like 200 times more expensive. This is not normal. This will come home to roost. I think I said this in the show I didn't release a couple days ago, is that basically it's all fine until it isn't, right? Like it won't be just this one bank here or there. It'll be an overnight catastrophe, I think. You won't be able to see it coming, basically, because our governments around the world, they will definitely just throw money at stuff to stop it from being a contagion. It'll have to be something way more catastrophic. And they'll still try to fix it just to hold up whatever facade they got until they don't want to hold it up anymore. It's basically, they'll keep the game going until they're tired of doing it. And it won't be something that you can predict. And you shouldn't go in and pull your money out of banks or some shit like that for now. I think that's kind of a dumb idea. I know about the Fed Now and the CBDCs. I know stuff like that. But if you don't have $200,000 in the bank, you got something less than that, you're probably okay for now. I think you should, be smart with that. I wish I had anywhere close to $250,000 in the bank. I would definitely be spending it on actual tangible goods, buying propane tanks or buying shelters, buying just supplies in general, I guess, bullets, guns, stuff like that. Don't just let your money sit around, but if you've bought all that shit and you do have money sitting around and it's less than $250,000, $250,000. Yeah, okay. I think I said it right. I don't know. But if you got all your other bases covered and you just got money sitting around and you want to put it in the bank, it's technically okay. So it's just going to be one of those things where you just got to watch it. You got to just pay attention as always. You can't take days off or anything like that necessarily. I mean, take vacations and shit like that. Don't get me wrong. But you just got to always just be mindful of what's going on. Don't go to zombie mode or anything like that. But let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. I guess the last quick story is that the Russian government says if the UK does ship in depleted uranium rounds, that there will be a reaction. Of course, Russia is always very vague and they barely do anything different than what they're already doing. So we will see what happens there, but we're gonna park it there. We're gonna see you back here probably not tomorrow unless something crazy happens. Maybe Thursday, something like that. But I might get a wild hair and fuck it. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Okay, we'll just do it. We'll just do it tomorrow. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Not really live, but we'll do it tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe. Stay productive. Keep your eyes on the craziness. Don't let the door hit you where Biden wants to split you. Peace.